Hey guys, what is going on? Today I have my week 2 NFL power ranking. I forgot to do a week 1 power ranking, which would have been my power ranking, I guess, before the season started. But this is my first power ranking of the year. So yeah, let's just get into it. At number 32, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars. They lost to the Houston Texans, so enough said. No offense to the Houston Texans because they won, but yeah, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars at 32. At 31, I have the New York Jets. So Zach Wilson, he made a few nice throws, but he got sacked 6 times, which isn't great at all. It's actually really bad, especially because he's a rookie quarterback and this was his first game. And to make matters worse, Becton went down with an injury, so he's going to be out for a little while now, and that is not good news because now you're losing a starting offensive lineman who was a first-round pick after your rookie quarterback just got sacked 6 times in his first game. So the Jets gotta figure out a way to protect Zach Wilson. Coming in at number 29, I have the Houston Texans. So the Texans had a pretty big win versus the Jacksonville Jaguars because no one was really expecting the Texans to win that game. Well, not a lot of people at least. For the Texans to be higher on this list, I would want to see them win versus a better team than the Jaguars. But in all honesty, if I did a week 1 power ranking, the Texans would probably be in last place. So this win was a big win for them, a good win for them, and let's just see if they can win some more games here. At number 28, I have the Atlanta Falcons, and they could not score a touchdown versus the Eagles. They literally did not score a touchdown versus this Eagles defense, and they have Kyle Pitts on this offense, and also the Atlanta defense could not stop the Eagles offense. So, that's a great way to lose a game. When your offense can't score and your defense can't stop the other team's offense, that's, a great way to lose, a great way to ensure you will lose a football game. Atlanta looked really bad. At number 27, speaking of a team that looked really bad, I have my favorite team, the New York Giants. I did a live reaction to that game. So if you want to see my heart get broken live, you can go watch that reaction video. I'll put the little thingy up here, and if it doesn't pop up here, I'll put a link in the description. But yeah, that game was literally all bad for the Giants. There were no positives. It was just really, really, really bad. And I think I'm being nice putting the Giants at number 27. Coming in at number 26, I have the Minnesota Vikings. So they lost in overtime to the Bengals, which is a little surprising because coming into the season, I don't think many people thought the Bengals were as good as the Vikings or better than the Vikings. So this was a bad loss for the Vikings, and their offensive line play was not good in this game at all. So the Vikings got a lot of stuff to clean up after that loss. At number 25, I have the Chicago Bears. Yes, they played a very, very good Rams team, but the Bears also did not look good. And I think it's very clear that Justin Fields needs to be the starter on this team. I think it's clear that he will make this team better when he is eventually the starter. At 24, the Carolina Panthers. So they had a nice win versus the New York Jets, but it wasn't a very dominant win. And for them to be higher on this, power ranking, I would have liked to see them have a more dominant win versus a team of, the Jets caliber. At 23, I have the Cincinnati Bengals. So they had a really gritty overtime win versus the Vikings. I mean, that game wasn't, the most fundamentally sound football game. It wasn't the prettiest win for the Bengals, but listen, they got the win, and that's huge for Joe Burrow coming off that terrible knee injury. They will be higher on this list if they have better wins, in my opinion. Yes, a win is a win, but I want to see them have better wins. And yeah, I think this offense can be really, really exciting to watch. So I'm excited to watch the Bengals this year. I think they can, shock a lot of teams, upset a lot of people, but they got to do that before I put them higher in my power ranking. At number 22, I have the Tennessee Titans. Oof, what a shockingly bad game from the Titans. Nothing was working on either side of the ball, and Derrick Henry got shut down by that Arizona defense. So a lot of things need to be fixed in Tennessee for this team to make the playoffs. Not to, have a week 1 overreaction there, but it was not pretty. At 21, I have the Washington football team. So they had a close loss with the Los Angeles Chargers. I mean, the big thing was they couldn't get the ball back to their offense at the end of the game, and that pretty much lost them the game because they never had the chance to try a game-winning drive. The QB situation is a little uncertain now because, Fitzpatrick, he hurt his hip, he's on the IR now. Heineke is the quarterback, but he's never been, a starter for the amount of time I think they're anticipating him to be the starter. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays and how this Washington team responds to a quarterback change after week 1. At 19, I have the New England Patriots. They had a very close loss versus the Dolphins. Basically, what lost them that game was a late fumble. I mean, they were driving down the field before that. And Mac Jones, he looked pretty solid in his first NFL game. I will say that. He looked pretty solid. At 18, I have the Indianapolis Colts. So they had a pretty bad loss versus the Seahawks. I was honestly expecting more from the Colts. And I think the thing that surprised me and concerned me the most about this Colts loss was the play of the offensive line, because I expected this offensive line to be really good still, and I don't know if they are now one of the top offensive lines in the league after that performance versus Seahawks. But then again, don't want to have a week 1 overreaction here saying that. I'm not trying to overreact. I'm just saying what I saw in the game. At 17, I have the Baltimore Ravens. So they lost in that crazy overtime game. Marcus Peters being out is really tough for this team. Lamar Jackson, he lost 2 fumbles, had 3 fumbles, so he really needs to, stop fumbling the ball, because if you lose the turnover battle, it's going to be hard to win games. And I think Lamar was just trying to do too much with the ball in his hands versus the Raiders. So I think he needs to just maybe, trust his teammates a little more, but I know that's difficult with the running back situation also, with how a lot of these running backs just got there because of all the running back injuries. So hopefully as the season goes on, this group becomes more cohesive and, Lamar has more faith in his running backs. At 16, I have the Denver Broncos. Teddy B, he looked awesome in his first game as the Denver Broncos starter. I mean, he was picking apart the defense, he was avoiding sacks, and this Broncos defense only allowed 7 points before garbage time without Bradley Chubb on the field. So that's really impressive by that Broncos defense. At 15, I have the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, that was the most Raiders type win Monday night. That's all I can say. That was such a Raiders win. The offense, as the game went on, was moving the ball more and more, and Derek Carr looks like a winning quarterback. He really had some nice plays in that game. And Darren Waller, top 3 tight end in the league, maybe top 2. At 14, I have the Miami Dolphins. So a win week 1 in Foxborough deserves a lot of credit. So you've got to give the Dolphins a lot of credit for that. The defense played really well this game, and I think the defense won them this game. I want to see more from this offense. I want to see more from Tua. So hopefully we see more from this Dolphins offense. And if this offense plays, kind of as well as this defense plays, this team could make a real playoff run. So I just want to see more from the Dolphins offense. I want to see more from Tua. But I think Jalen Waddle being down there in Miami with Tua is really going to help Tua's game. At 13, I have the Green Bay Packers. And this team probably had the most surprising loss this week. I mean, they couldn't even score a touchdown. They scored 1 field goal. They put up 3 points. That's nuts. And the defense didn't play much better. So Green Bay did not look good. I mean, they have the talent on that roster. On paper, this team looks really good. But they got to figure out what went wrong on the field, because it did not look good at all. And Aaron Rodgers didn't look good at all. He was missing throws and stuff. Bad game from the Packers. They're not lower on this list because, they're the Packers. On paper, this team is still really good. They were 1 game away from the Super Bowl last year. I just can't move them below 13 after 1 week. If they have another loss like that, yeah, definitely they will be moved down a lot again. At 12, I have the Buffalo Bills. So they had a week 1 loss at home versus the Steelers, and their offense just couldn't move the ball versus this Steelers defense. I mean, they couldn't put up enough points. I think they're trying to do too much with Josh Allen, especially because it's a 17-game season. You want to make sure he's healthy. I mean, Josh Allen threw the ball 51 times and ran it 9 times. And I was watching back this game, and when Josh Allen runs the ball, he's taking those hits. So I want to make sure, the Bills are remembering, this is a 17-game season. I hope they try to run the ball a little bit more, just so, Josh Allen stays healthy. At 11, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers, and wow, what a surprising win for them week 1. I don't know many people who expected them to go up to Buffalo and beat this Bills team, but that's exactly what they did, and their defense did this. Their defense is what won them this game. Their defense looked amazing, like one of the top defenses in the league. Really, really great defensive performance from the Steelers this week. At number 10, I have the Dallas Cowboys. So even though they lost Thursday night versus the Buccaneers, they looked pretty good. I can't lie, the Dallas Cowboys looked like a pretty good football team. Dak is back and he is balling. He picked up right where he left off last season before he went down with that injury. And honestly, this Cowboys defense, you know, impressed me. I thought they were going to be really, really bad, but listen, they created some turnovers and they had a pretty solid game, a much better game than I was expecting them to have, to be honest with you. This Cowboys defense really, really did surprise me Thursday night. Let's see if they can, you know, continue to play like that. At number 9, I have the San Francisco 49ers. So they started off their game basically dominating the Lions. They led the game at one point 38-10, but the final score of that game was 41-33. So yeah, somehow they almost lost that game at the last second. You know, maybe they thought it was garbage time a little too soon. Maybe they took their foot off the brake a little bit. But I still think the 49ers are a very, very good football team. But unfortunately, they already are dealing with season-ending injuries after week 1. Raheem Mostert and Jason Verrett are both out for the season after that first game. So that's brutal. 49ers dealt with a lot of injuries last year, so you hope, you know, they're not going to have to deal with that many again this year. But brutal start to the season injury-wise for the 49ers. At number 8, I have the Los Angeles Chargers. So this is my sleeper team for this season. This is a team I think can make a deep playoff run. I think Herbert can be an MVP candidate. And they finally won a close game. That was a huge issue for them in the past, not being able to close out games or win close games. But they did that in week 1, and they did so aggressively. I mean, they didn't just try to run the clock down in the final 5 minutes, just try to, you know, run the ball and all this stuff and play conservatively. No, they won that game aggressively. They were letting Herbert throw the ball, and he had a ton of really clutch passes in that game, in that final drive to, you know, just keep the ball away from the Washington football team and never give them the chance to have a possible game-winning drive. At number 7, I have the Arizona Cardinals, and oh my gosh, what a dominant win for the Cardinals this past weekend. They looked so good on both sides of the ball. Kyler Murray, you know, had a casual 5 touchdowns, just a casual 5 touchdowns. Chandler Jones had, you know, a casual 5 sacks. And yeah, I might be, you know, doing a little bit of a week 1 overreaction here, putting them this high on this power ranking, because I had them coming in last place in my NFC West record prediction. I mean, I did have them coming in last place with a winning record, but listen, I don't care. The Arizona Cardinals looked so good versus the Titans, and Kyler Murray looks like he is in Madden right now, playing versus everyone on rookie mode. Lauren from another camera angle, real quick here. So after I recorded the video, I realized I forgot to talk about one of the most unforgettable teams from this weekend, and that is the New Orleans Saints. So the New Orleans Saints are number 5 on my power ranking for this week. I mean, you couldn't have asked them to play any better versus the Green Bay Packers. I mean, they didn't allow Aaron Rodgers to score 1 touchdown. They didn't let anyone on that Green Bay offense score a singular touchdown. I mean, Jameis looks like a totally different quarterback, was just playing so well. I'm so happy for him. And yeah, guys, the Saints are legit. At number 5, I have the Seattle Seahawks. So Russell Wilson, he attempted 23 passes, and he completed 18 of those passes, and 4 of those completions were touchdowns. So, you know, that's a pretty efficient quarterback, if I do say so myself. That's a pretty nice quarterback stat line, if I do say so myself. Tyler Lockett, he also had a monster game. He had 2 touchdowns, and this defense did what it needed to do. This defense, like, allowed this team to be in a position to win this game. At number 4, I have the Cleveland Browns, and I thought they just might do it this week. I thought they had the possibility to do it. I thought they had the possibility to beat the Chiefs. After going up early, I was like, oh my God, they might do it. But then they didn't. They were so close, but yet so far. They went up early in this game, but late turnovers cost them this game. And Patrick Mahomes just doesn't lose in September. He just doesn't lose in September. I don't think you ever want to lose a football game, right? But I think this was the best loss of the week. I mean, they went into Arrowhead and September and lost a close competitive game to the Chiefs, who just went to 2 Super Bowls in a row. Like, that's not the worst loss. You're not losing sleep over that loss. At number 3, I have the Los Angeles Rams, and both sides of the ball played great in this game, but oh my gosh, the offense was the real star of this game. Matt Stafford has an arm. He has an arm, and him playing in this system is going to be so much fun to watch. It's really going to be so much fun to watch. And the Rams, they were my preseason pick to win the Super Bowl, and they really looked like a Super Bowl contender in that Week 1 game versus the Bears. At number 2, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. So I was thinking about putting them at the number 1 spot, right? Like, they had a great win versus a very good team in the Browns. But I just couldn't move the Buccaneers out of the number 1 spot without a loss. Patrick Mahomes had another great game. He had another one of those 3-and-3 games, as I like to say. 3 touchdowns and over 300 passing yards. Tyreek Hill, crazy, crazy game. Almost 200 receiving yards. He had 197 receiving yards and a touchdown. Defense for the Chiefs didn't play great early, but you know what? They stepped up late in this game and put them in a position to win, and yeah, that's what the Chiefs did. And at number 1, of course, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So this win wasn't, you know, the best win versus the Cowboys. It wasn't the most beautiful win versus the Cowboys. There were probably a few scary moments in that game if you're a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. But listen, this is basically the same team that won the Super Bowl last year, and I just can't move the Buccaneers out of that number 1 spot until they lose a game or until they play a really, really bad game versus a really, really bad team. So Buccaneers are still number 1 in my book. And that is it for this video, guys. Make sure you drop a like. Let me know what you think about these power rankings. What do your power rankings look like? Is there anything you really, really disagree with? And yeah, guys, make sure you subscribe. Peace!